Hi, education friends. Since many of you will be using Google Forms for quizzes this year, you may be concerned with academic integrity violations. Today, I'm going to show you 3 super simple tips to help minimize that concern. We're going to focus on accepting only one response per student, shuffling the order of our questions, and closing and opening the forms as needed. Let's assume you already have your Google Form quiz prepared, much like the one I have here. The first thing you're going to do is go to the top right-hand corner and click on the cogwheel to open your settings dialog box. The first tab says General. Go halfway down and put a check mark on Limit to One Response. As it tells you, students need to be signed into Google, so make sure your students know how to do that with their school credentials. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to shuffle the order of our questions. Go up to that presentation tab and click. And then the second question, we're going to check mark where it says shuffle question order. Now, by doing this, if you have students side by side taking a quiz, they no longer will be able to look on their neighbor's computer screen as the order of their questions will appear differently. We're going to come down to the bottom and click Save. And then we're going to focus on that last step, closing and opening a form. Go up to the second tab that says Responses and click. And on the right-hand side, you can see that my current form is open for responses. So my students can be submitting their work to me. If I simply click on this toggle slide, I'm now not accepting responses. And my students will see such because when they click on the form, it defaults to tell them this form's no longer accepting responses. I can either leave this default response or I can create and personalize something that's specific to my classroom. Maybe I want to let them know that this form has not yet been opened and or has already been closed. Maybe I want to tell them that they need to email me to set up a time for makeup work completion. Whatever it is, I can put right there for my students to see when they try accessing this form. With my form, I'm going to post it on my Google Classroom so my students can access it. That'll be my central hub. But when I do so, I want to make sure that I post it while it already has not accepting responses. Let's pretend I'm going to be giving a quiz. 10 minutes. That's the longest I want my students working on this. So when they get to class or when they join me virtually, I'll tell them, today you're going to take a 10-minute quiz. You're not able to access the form until I tell you to do so. So once I say, you're going to click on the link. When it's time for them to go, I'm going to simply click this slider to where I'm accepting responses and I say go. They'll have 10 minutes to complete the form. When it gets down to about 9 minutes, I want to tell them you have 1 minute remaining. Please check your work and submit your answers. Whenever it gets down to 10 seconds, I might want to say, you must click the submit button now. All answers need to be submitted now. And as they're submitting, I'll see their names and responses populating here. So I'll have an idea of who has submitted and who hasn't. And when time's up, I simply say time's up. I'm no longer accepting responses. This form is closed. And I close it. Second period comes in, I do the exact same thing. It starts out not accepting responses. Once I indicate it's time to go, I accept responses. Once that 10-minute period is up, I close it again. Let's pretend I have a student who was absent and they need to make up this quiz. That's not a problem. I just schedule a time to where they can be online. I can come in here, open it back up for them, and close it when it's no longer needed. So as you can see today, we dealt with 3 different ways to help reduce academic integrity concerns by accepting only one response from the students, changing the orders that their questions appear, and opening and closing the forms as needed. If you found these tips to be helpful, please click the like button below and leave me a comment with other Google education questions you might have. Have a fantastic school year.